Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video, and in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Mayweather versus Gotti 3 rematch. And so if you're new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so, like video if you do need a like video, and let's get straight into it. So going into this fight, Mayweather, of course, he's professionally 50-0 with 27 KOs, but I believe in exhibitions he is now 3-0-4 with 4 like the no contest, no judges type thing in exhibitions, and Gotti is 5-1 with 5 KOs. I believe he's 3-1 in MMA and then 2-0 in boxing. I might be wrong. Their first fight ended in a no contest, and of course, this whole brawl thing broke out, and I'll speak a bit more about that in just a second. Mayweather is 47 and Gotti 3 is 32. Mayweather is 58, 5'8", and Gotti 3 is 5'11". And I suppose, yeah, to speak a bit more about what happened in the first fight, it was just weird. I mean, Mayweather, of course, he's back again trying to get his money from his exhibitions fights. I'm not going to be somebody who's throwing around accusations or anything about Mayweather's financial situation and things like that for him keeping having to come back and fight more exhibition fights. But, you know, this rematch, is it really a rematch that many people are wanting to see a rematch for? No. I mean, realistically, the only reason we're probably seeing it again is because there is the big name in Gotti 3 and, obviously what happened last time. But if you're looking at the actual fight, which I'm going to speak a bit more about in just a moment, Mayweather was dominating and not really much happened. But, obviously that big brawl thing broke out. It seemed like that was kind of a bit inevitable, and certain things didn't help the situation. I mean, before the fight, there was a big delay because there was a lot of people in Gotti 3's corner, and they were just trying to get them to move out of the way and things like that. And then there was also a hostile crowd towards Mayweather. It seemed like a lot of people were here in support of Gotti 3, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just it did spill over, and obviously Mayweather was fueling the fire and was talking back and was taunting the crowd, taunting Gotti 3, taunting the corner of Gotti 3, and you know that's not going to help the situation either. And then, yeah, it just of course ended up breaking out, and it was a bit of a mess. I mean, Gotti 3, people were talking about him being the more aggressive fighter after the fight than he was actually during in the fight. I mean, he went to go for the punch. It was quite a nice punch that Mayweather caught him with, to be fair, in that brawl type situation when when it was unexpected what was going to happen. But I don't think the ref really helped it that much. I mean, obviously they were talking back and forth a lot and clinching quite a lot and being quite aggressive in clinches. But I mean, the ref could have maybe let it on more. Could have tried to do point deductions and things like that. When he just stopped the fight pretty much just midway through, it didn't give a clear ending. And when they were both quite angry already, especially Gotti 3, when the fight's just getting called for no reason, that's not going to help either. And yeah, obviously the whole thing kind of broke out. There was in a lot of fights. I mean, it was nice to see both fighters kind of not really get injured too much from that or anything like that. And then I don't know what else happened in the ring. There was a lot going on. Apparently, there was a lot of fights afterwards and everything like that. This is just what I'm reading. Um, so yeah, it was a bit of a mess. Hopefully, security will be better and everything for this fight because it's with DAZN and there is a bit more eyes on it now and things like that because of the DAZN backing. So hopefully, there has been more money put into security and things like that. Obviously, it's still an exhibition and it's still Mayweather promotion, so I don't exactly know if there is going to be too much more of a difference in the setup of arena and things like that. But obviously we'll see. It makes, I suppose, for a bit of an interesting fight. I mean, at the same time, when you think about Mayweather, obviously most people probably want him to retire at this point, but he's obviously not ready to do that yet. So yeah, there's not many really loads of fights in which you kind of want to see Mayweather in at the moment, and with the way that he is picking and kind of picking his opponents, it does make sense that this rematch is happening for his value, and because of how dominant he was in the first fight, he's just going to want to do that again and look how and show off his skills again realistically. But I suppose to speak about them skills, obviously, I'm going to comment on some things of Mayweather that he's amazing at. There's so many things throughout his career that he's been sensational at and everything like that. I can't just sit here and comment about that all the time because I will be here all day. So I'm mainly just going to talk about the things that he looked and did impressive from that last fight. And obviously his hand speed and his speed in general was excellent. And in general, that's basically what Gotti 3 seems to struggle with a lot. And it's basically what a lot of people struggle with against Mayweather, just because maybe you you just can't see punches coming, I suppose, and that's what it is. And Mayweather's very good at just being and using his IQ so well and his speed to mix that together with his timing. To just be an amazing fighter, and in general the pace control of the fight, he completely controlled the pace. He let his hands go. He changed levels nicely. Found the opening to the body of Gotti 3 well when Gotti 3 was just covering up with quite a high guard most of the fight. He had very good range management and picked his shots nicely. He was pivoting nice, even when he was taunting a little bit. There was some nice pivots involved in there, and he was working angles impressively as he always does. He was very accurate in his work. He has brilliant punch variation as always, and he was composed, relaxed, confident to be able to do them things. And so, yeah, in general, they were the main kind of things I picked up on from that 6 round. Them 6 rounds versus Gotti 3 were not really too much happened in the actual fight wise. I suppose negative wise, what I could possibly comment about and what may make this fight a little bit different the second time round, I would say Mayweather is the less physical out of the two. I think Gotti 3, what I'll be interested in is how aggressive he comes into this second fight. Obviously, he didn't really throw too much or do too much during the fight the first time round, but with, of course, everything that's happened since then, I think he's going to come in a lot more aggressive and try and just throw a lot more and see what happens. So he could just put Mayweather on the back foot. Mayweather is excellent on the back foot, but he didn't really have to deal with that on the first fight. And I believe he is the less physical out of the two. And so if Gotti 3 uses his physicality and really tries to put it on Mayweather, you never know. He could find little bits of success in here and there and possibly tire out an aging Mayweather. We'll have to wait and see. And obviously, like I say, is he past his best? He hasn't really been tested, so if somebody just puts on Mayweather, that could be him getting tested. He obviously could and pretty much does have overconfidence in a lot of his fights, but because the level in which he's fighting at, it doesn't really matter most of the time, but he can, overlooking he probably is, so he could get caught out with a punch or a flurry of punches or something like that could hurt him, you never know. He, of course, has all the pressure on him. I'm pretty sure he's used to that by this point, and he's a showman. He's used to delivering, but he does, of course, have that pressure. He has quite wide hooks and quite an open guard. He's very low with his guard a lot of the time. He can be countered. I think Gotti 3 caught him a couple of times with counters because he was just waiting in range a little bit too long. I don't think his power is anything crazy. I don't think he's really loading up on the power punches. In these exhibition fights, and so yeah, I don't think his power is anything too crazy, and ill discipline. When he is overconfident, you can kind of see that be the case, and I suppose you are just using his IQ, so I suppose the discipline doesn't matter quite so much, and like I say, the level of opponent, it doesn't matter quite so much. Speak about Gotti 3 as a fighter, he had that high guard, which was nice. He didn't really get hurt, he didn't really get hit clean at all, to be honest, and against Mayweather, that's impressive. He can be aggressive. Was he aggressive in the first fight? No, but he can be. He's tough. He's quite relaxed at the same time. He did look quite composed in there when he was getting hit with shots, and even with everything else going on the talking and taunting and everything like that, he did seem quite relaxed until, of course, the end. He aims to counter, and like I say, I did catch him a couple of times and tries to tie you up. He tied up Mayweather a few times. And with that MMA background, I'm sure he could tie up fighters nicely, and that's what I'd like to see him do, of course, like I say, with that physicality of his. And in general, he has nothing to lose. We kind of know that, to be completely honest. I suppose maybe he might have a bit more pressure on him because of the name and the fans going with him, but I think in this second time round, I don't really believe he has much to lose. There isn't really much I can comment on good things, to be honest, with Gotti, because he, like I say, didn't really do too much in that first fight. Negatives, I think he just struggled handling speed a lot. He was quite flat-footed. He really invited pressure and just covered up the entire fight, and there really just wasn't much coming back from him. He had a low output, didn't really use a jab at all, even though he has that longer reach. He was open to the body because of that high guard. His accuracy wasn't amazing, his timing wasn't amazing. He ducked his head down quite a lot. And these patterns of ducking your heads down when you're against somebody like a Mayweather who is so smart, he can see these patterns. And he didn't really move off the ropes in general when he was getting just peppered by Mayweather a lot of the time. Mayweather is the favourite for this fight. I think it's going to end in another no contest. That's a boring prediction, I know. It's more of a breakdown this fight than a prediction, to be completely honest. It's a boring one, but I don't think Mayweather's really going for the knockouts in these kind of exhibitions, and I think Gotti 3 is too tough to get stopped with that defensive style. Possibly if he comes in more aggressive, he could do, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I still think no matter what, Mayweather's going to put on a good display because I do believe his skills are just levels above that of Gotti 3's. So, if it went to points, it would be a unanimous decision victory, but like I say, of course, no contest because I don't believe there are any judges. Then who we could go on to fight? I mean, Pacquiao again. Pacquiao's back fighting again now. Garcia, maybe, or anybody. You never know with Mayweather. Like I say, I would probably like to see him retire, but he still has that skill there, and he still looks impressive when he's fighting. So it's not like he's past it like some of the people that we've seen go into exhibition fighting. But yeah, it's just I don't really think there's much left for him to do, to be completely honest. But that is it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy. Like if you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.